Hello and welcome. This is the New Book of Daniel podcast featuring me. This is Daniel Bobinski, and I'll be your host on this adventure. Today, we're going to be talking about some of the headlines in the news and one of the columns that I have over at UncoverDC.com. Past couple of podcasts, I've mostly just been focusing on the columns that I do. But when I first started talking about doing this podcast, I thought, what I'd like to do is take some of the headlines that I see and just kind of talk about them a little bit, offer some thoughts. So we'll do that today. Most of these podcasts have been going 35, 40 minutes. I would like to drop it back down to maybe 15 to 20 minutes, see if we can keep it in that range. So basically, five topics in 15 minutes. I would like to first start off just by saying that I know a lot of folks like to support podcasts. I do not have a Patreon account as of yet. So if you would like to support this podcast, the best way to do that is to have my business help your business. I own a business called Workplace Excellence. Ran that company for 30 years. We do management leadership training. We do one-on-one coaching. We help people with their self-awareness, self-management, work management, and relationship management. And that means team management. So when you're talking about management leadership coaching, we've been doing that. In fact, one of my former clients actually went on to become the CEO of Motorola. I've been working with companies of all shapes and sizes, like I said, for 30 years. The other side of that business is training development and training advice, because all three of my college degrees are in how people learn. So we've done a lot of work with creating e-learning for clients or creating training manuals for their people. So if any of these things are of interest to your business, hey, have my business help your business. You'll be helping the podcast. And if you want some one-on-one coaching, same thing. To do that, just go to myworkplaceexcellence.com. It's myworkplaceexcellence.com, and you can connect with me there. In fact, if you wanted to get just a free 15-minute consult with me just to talk about what your situation is, you can do that from that site. So anyways, there's the shameless plug. We'll move on to talking about some of the issues in the news. First up is my column. My latest column for UncoverDC is called "The Virginia Governor is Not a Patriot." I don't know how to say this other than just say it. He's not a patriot. And I know I'm going to get some pushback from people. They're going to say, how dare you call this man's patriotism into question? And I'm going to reply, I dare just fine, because I'm kind of tired of being bullied into not speaking the truth. They've been doing that for a long time, and we just need to start speaking the truth. I want to say, I know the guy has been in the U.S. military. He was an officer in the U.S. Army. That doesn't make him a patriot. Just being born in the United States does not make you a patriot. Just like being born in an oven doesn't make you a biscuit, or being born in a garage doesn't make you a car. We've seen Nancy Pelosi and company standing in front of American flags and quoting the Constitution a lot lately. I've got some news for Nancy. Satan quotes the Bible. That doesn't mean he's a follower of Jesus. When I talk about what it means to be a patriot, I'm talking about adhering to some basic principles that our founders believed in. And it was the principles that they stood on when they created our Constitution, such as rights come from God, not the government. And political power comes from the will of the governed. Also, our government should be a representative republic, not a democracy, because democracy leads to mob rule. Our government should have only limited power. Our rights shouldn't be able to be taken away by government because government doesn't grant the rights. And also that our laws should be in writing and not determined by an individual, but determined by the people. When you believe those things and your actions and your words and your attitudes align with those principles, then I'm going to call you a patriot. But if you're not acting that way and not talking that way, then you're not a patriot. I don't care what uniform you've worn or what flag you stand in front of. And in the column, I go through and I list some examples showing how Virginia's governor does not align with that kind of stuff. And you're going to see really in the next couple of days what he's kind of the culmination of the whole left's main, modus operandi, and that is the Hegelian dialectic. The Hegelian dialectic, in very simple terms, is 2 steps forward, 1 step back. 2 steps forward, 1 step back. Let's propose some wild legislation, and the patriots will say no, and then we'll say, okay, well, you need to compromise, or you're going to be seen as un-American. And so the patriots will compromise. We've got to stop compromising because we can't let them define us. We define ourselves as adhering to those principles that I just outlined. So what do we have in Virginia? We have a governor who has proposed some wild piece of legislation, a gun grab. He had some other non-patriots, and you got to know this was coordinated, other non-patriots suggesting that they're going to bring in the United Nations to enforce this gun grab. That got people all riled up. So what do the patriots do? They say, well, we're going to have this demonstration at the State House there in Virginia. Well, now we have yesterday or today, the governor has declared a state of emergency, stating that these protesters are going to be dangerous and violent. There's going to be hate groups. Oh, gosh. Well, guess what? Yeah, Antifa has decided today to show up. They're a hate group. You've got some actual Nazis that say they're going to show up. They're going to play this game too, right? And you know what? We have seen in the past at Trump rallies when he was running for president, leftists planting troublemakers in the crowd. And then, of course, the dutiful media reporting on that, saying that the crowd, that the Trump supporters are troublemakers. You're going to see that happen at this rally in Virginia. If there's going to be any kind of violence at all, it's going to come from Antifa or people planted in the crowd by the left. You are not going to see patriots getting violent. So yes, there's going to be a rally, and the governor will continue his fear-mongering, and the Marxist, socialist, democratic propaganda machine, which we politely refer to as the legacy media or the lamestream media, whatever phrase you want to use, they're going to dutifully report on this stuff, and they're going to stir up division. And then, like I said, you're going to probably have some people planted in the crowd. They may create some violence, but then you're going to have the governor saying, see, you guys can't be trusted. All right, fine, let's compromise. Maybe we won't go as far as what I wanted, but let's go part way. And then he's going to expect the patriots to be contrite after whatever violence was stirred up there, and he's going to want them to compromise. Let me just make it real clear. The violence is not going to come from the patriots. Patriots, we have to stop compromising. We just have to say, no, we're not playing your game anymore. We are no longer going to violate the principles upon which our country was founded. So that is really kind of the gist of the column. There's a lot of examples there and links to a lot of what I just talked about. So if you want to read more about it, you can go to UncoverDC.com. If it's not up when you hear this, it'll be up in the next day or so. But do check out that column. All right, let's move over to some of the news that's in the headlines lately and see if we can knock this out in 15 minutes or so. We've got 5 selected. We'll start with CNN's Brian Stelter. You know, this little guy that some folks call him Humpty Dumpty, but his name is Brian Stelter, and he is going to host a documentary on the rise of false news, fake news. This is hilarious. This is CNN's Brian Stelter, who is going to host a documentary on fake news. This would be like, this is CNN, right? We're talking about CNN. This is the company that just got sued for hundreds of millions of dollars for providing fake news. It's kind of like, Michael Scott from The Office is going to put on a host a documentary about principles of management. Or we're going to see Sheldon Cooper from Big Bang Theory hosting a documentary on interpersonal skills. Or better yet, Bill Clinton hosting a documentary on sexual harassment. It's all going to be the same kind of documentary. Anyways, yeah, Brian, good luck with that. That'll be fun. All right, item number 2, and this was really big in the news today. Today is the 17th of January 2020. Arizona Senator McSally was walking toward her office, and you had a CNN reporter throwing a gotcha question at her. And McSally, she's got stuff to do. She walks right past him, and she says, "You're a liberal hack." I thought it was great. And so he rephrased his question, and she just repeated herself. You're a liberal hack, buddy. And so CNN spent, I don't know how much time demanding an apology for this. I don't know what the big problem is. I mean, she's just calling it like she sees it. But you have, interestingly, the Washington Post has chimed in, writing about it, saying that they can't see how this quote unquote outburst is allowable, and that because she had this quote outburst, it's evidence that the Republicans are not going to be fair in the impeachment process. What kind of twisted logic is that? She calls a reporter a liberal hack, and suddenly she's not going to be fair in the impeachment process? Whoa, there's some really big leap of logic there. I got a kick out of what the RNC chairman said, that in response, they asked her if she should apologize, and she goes, "No, actually, the CNN should be filing with the Federal Election Commission to show donations in kind to the Democratic Party." I thought that was great. Basically, we got some good patriots not putting up with this leftist crap anymore, which I think is excellent. Okay, let's move on to item number 3. And this is Miss Nancy Pelosi being asked about the impeachment count and how there's really no proof that Trump has done anything wrong. And she responds, and I should play this for you because it's hilarious to listen to, but I don't want to get kicked off of YouTube or anywhere for violating fair use, even though it would be fair use. We'll play their game. But she says, quote, "It's not a question of proof. It's about allegations." Listen to the logic of that. It's not a question of proof. It's about allegations. So that's a pretty slippery slope, Nancy. But if we want to play things your way and use your standard of judgment here, that Trump should not be allowed to be president because of allegations, let's go back to 2010 and look at some archives. And anybody listening can do this. You can go to Google and do a time search for the years like 2010, 2011 about Nancy Pelosi and insider trading. And we're going to see all sorts of media reports questioning Nancy Pelosi making a boatload of money and all sorts of evidence pointing to insider trading. So I don't know, Nancy, if we're going to use your standards about allegations and Trump not being able to be president because of the seriousness of the allegations, maybe you shouldn't be in Congress because of the allegations of insider trading. Just a thought, Nancy. Let that one sit for a second. All right, moving on to item number 4 is Australia. Great country, been there, love it. Beautiful country. Unfortunately, it's been burning a lot. And we have people saying that climate change is causing these fires in Australia. Well, here is the dailymail.com telling us that the arson is not caused by climate change. I love it. over 180 people have been arrested in the past year for lighting brush fires in Australia. 24 people just in the last month or two have been arrested for starting brush fires in Australia. This headline has it right. Arson is not caused by climate change. So to anybody who wants to say climate change and anybody's talking with you about climate change, you can just say, you know what, if it's climate change, then why do we have 24 people getting arrested for starting fires down in Australia? Because I don't think climate change causes arson. Just a fact you can share over a beer if somebody's talking about climate change. Speaking of climate change, I just want to clarify something. I really do believe that we have climate change. What I don't believe is that it's man-made, because you could have one volcano eruption that creates more carbon into our atmosphere, that pushes more carbon into our atmosphere than all of mankind in recorded history. So we have a lot of volcanoes that go off on this planet, pushing a whole lot of carbon dioxide into the atmosphere, much more than mankind ever could. So if people want to try to lay this climate change thing on mankind, you can just cite them that fact and maybe they'll listen, but I doubt it. It was kind of funny. A couple years ago, I was kind of sad actually about, I was reading about Pluto, the former planet Pluto. It's still a planet in my book. But anyways, Pluto is on its orbit around the sun. And I think Pluto's orbit is like 243 years or something like that. Anyways, Pluto's on the away path. It's already circled the sun. It's going away from the sun. We're not going to see it anywhere near the sun for a long time. So as it's moving away from the sun, you would think that it would be cooling off. The planet itself would be cooling as it leaves the sun. But quite the contrary, they found that Pluto was heating up. Now, I don't know about you, but I can be standing here on planet Earth and a nice hot summer day, and then the nighttime comes as our planet turns and we no longer have sunlight as we move away from the sun, and it cools off really fast. Wouldn't take long to stay permanently cool, right? If you're moving away from the sun, and yet Pluto's heating up. And what were the scientists saying? They were claiming that it was latent heat. Latent heat. I just want to claim these scientists are trying to sing the agenda. You don't have that. So anyways, yes, climate change is real. We've had ice ages. They've come and gone. We have deserts that have become green. We have greens that have become deserts. We've got, the planet changes. It doesn't take a little bit to make a change, right? You can have the sun heat up a half a degree. You know, the sun can heat up 0.5% or a 0.1%, and it's going to affect our planet. So there's lots of different factors that can make climate change happen. Earth's magnetic field, all sorts of different things going on. So yes, climate change is real, A. B, it's not man-made. So don't buy this stuff happening down in Australia being man-made climate change. Not happening. All right, last item on my rant and rave today has to do with Twitter, and it's a little bit personal. So I had a Twitter account back in 2009 for my business. And I wasn't all that active on it. I had a couple of hundred followers and I was following a couple of hundred people, and I'd tweet once in a while and share some information with people. But I kind of abandoned it. I would post once a year, maybe every other year. I don't know. Last couple of years hasn't been very active at all. When I started writing for UncoverDC, Tracy Beans, the editor-in-chief there, said that I should open a Twitter account. I said, well, I've got one. She said, well, open one that focuses on what you're writing about for us. So I did. And I went back to Twitter and I opened up my Twitter, and there's my old account, all my followers. Okay, and so I opened up a new account too. And it's the new book of Daniel. And for a couple of days, I'm posting on New Book of Daniel, and I'm going to my other account, and everything's fine. Well, about a week or 10 days into having the New Book of Daniel, my old account gets deleted. It's just gone. I didn't delete it. I didn't click delete the account. It just disappeared. I went to go there and it says account deleted. All right. Well, I'm thinking, well, maybe there was some weird electron that went where it shouldn't have gone and something happened. I wasn't ready to blame Twitter just yet. So I waited a little bit. Then last month on December 5th of 2019, I opened another business account. And I intended to start marketing some of my products and services and talking to people about what we do on Twitter. Anyway, I started getting these emails from Twitter. People in your area are sharing this, and people are talking about this. And it's a daily email from Twitter. And I'm thinking, okay, fine. And I wasn't paying too much attention to those things, as most folks don't. Didn't really pay attention to it, didn't really do anything with it, didn't make any tweets on the account, didn't retweet anything on the account. I just opened it up, I uploaded my logo to a little circle, and I had my account. So interestingly enough, Tracy Beans over at UncoverDC, she did a little survey, and she's asking, she's complaining about Twitter and how many people were losing followers and stuff. And there's hundreds of people sharing how Twitter just drops followers. You can have people who gain 20 followers in a day, and then they look at their follower count, and the follower count's actually gone down 10 people. So how does that happen? Because people don't unfollow. Very rarely do people unfollow somebody. And sometimes hundreds of people a day. And people were complaining about their Twitter account being just deleted. And I thought, well, that's happened to me. Okay. So I go over to make a tweet on my business account. It just kind of tripped my reminder, and I went to go make a tweet on my business account, and my business account has been suspended. I mean, I open it up and it says suspended due to violation of Twitter policy. And I'm going, what's up with that? I didn't even tweet. I didn't even retweet. So Twitter, if you guys, gosh, how can you even stay in business? I don't get it. You guys treat your customers like crap. So apparently there's a way you can appeal. I have already spent 20 minutes looking for it, and I'm not going to spend any more time. But my Twitter account has been suspended for violating Twitter rules. I don't know, is not posting within a month violation of Twitter rules? If you know how to appeal to Twitter, because I'm not going to waste any more time looking for it. If you know how to do that, please send me an email and tell me how I can contact Twitter and make this gripe. You can contact me at newbookofdaniel@outlook.com. That's just it. Email is newbookofdaniel@outlook.com. All right, there's my 5 topics for the day. One of them is a personal rant. Thanks for listening to that. But next time we'll talk about more these headlines in the news. If you want to follow me on Twitter, it's New Book of Daniel. It's at New Book of Daniel. You want to email me? It is newbookofdaniel@outlook.com. Happy to answer any questions you have. If you have any suggestions for the show, any comments, concerns. If you're watching this on YouTube and you want to make a comment, feel free. Happy to have you subscribe. And again, if you wanted to contact my business to see how I might be able to help you, the website there is myworkplaceexcellence.com. So anyways, this has been episode number 4 of the New Book of Daniel podcast. My name is Daniel Bobinski, and I wish you guys a great day, and we'll catch you on the next podcast.